Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Reseller Show, session number 46. My name's Andy Lawrence.
And my name is Kev Massive Action Blackburn.
Welcome along to everyone listening to the replay. How you doing? Hope you're having a good time in the future there. Let us know what it's like. Are we all in spacecraft by the time you watch this? I don't know what's going on. Welcome along to the show. We're just going to hang around whilst we get a few live attendees filter in, and then we'll be rocking and rolling with this week's Reseller Show. We've got a few questions to get through, a few things to talk about. So to get us kicked off, Mr. Blackburn, how are you? How's your week, and how's everything going over at Blackburn Towers?
It's amazing. So yesterday we did the Tribe of Arbitragers, the launch party, which was such an amazing experience. I basically, like I said a couple of shows ago, I created this Tribe of Arbitragers. It officially launched yesterday. So we did a launch party where I had Adam, I had Sophie, I had Sylvia. There was all four of us sort of streaming out to YouTube, where there was nearly 50 people in the chat. They were talking. It was a full-on party. I had a drink. I had a beer. I had a beer on me. It was crazy, Andy. It was crazy. We were raving.
Awesome.
We were raving. But yeah, it was a really, really great night. I mean, it went on for like 2 hours. So I was home really late last night. Today I've been completely just like trying to catch up with things. But apart from that, it's just been a fantastic project that has now come to its conclusion. Hopefully it's out there doing its thing. Lots of people. We had hundreds and hundreds of people that actually downloaded it and pre-ordered it, which was awesome. And now hopefully people are reading it and enjoying it. And hopefully people like yourself, Andy, who was tribe member number 10, I think. Member number 10, Andy himself, and making that impact. Hopefully people reading your answers and hopefully being inspired to take action and build this business to whatever it is that they want ultimately. So yeah, that's me.
Excellent. That sounds like you've been having a good time. Yeah, I hope they do. I hope everyone gets hold of it and finds something in all the different areas to actually make the most of it, and crucially take action and put it into practice and go ahead and make yourself some money. That's the main thing. This
is it. I mean, I tried to do so much in this book in terms of getting people like yourself inside the book and the interviews. And on top of that, we ended up giving away about, in total, it was something like £5,000 worth of prizes yesterday, from 6 months of Repricer Express to an hour of people's time, like Sylvia and Adam. Reezy resells himself. He gave away his Bolo's book, which was a great prize to give away. I gave away things like £50 VAT, £50 gift cards. I'm even paying for Alex. I think it was Alex that won the night on the 29th of November, putting him out on a hotel here. So he's going to be there at the live Reseller Show, hopefully, what we do here on the 30th. So it was all good. It was all good. It's fantastic. Loved it.
Sounds like fun. Excellent. Alrighty, so who we've got in the chat this evening? Sean's first in. How you doing, Sean? Good to see you here as always. Logan Harper's in. Good afternoon. Well, good evening now, just about. Logan, how you doing? I don't know where you're coming from, but it's evening over here in sunny Suffolk. Kev's in. How you doing, Kev? Chris, how you doing? Mark Clay's in. Vladimir. And Darren Moore, how you doing? Loads of people in tonight. Joe's on the ball. John's on the ball, sorry. Your username always picks me up. John's in. And I should know Pure Soul Success. I should know your name by now. I can't remember.
It's Jerry.
Jerry, of course it is. The picture's so small I can barely see it, but of course it's Jerry. And Simon's in as well. Good evening. Thanks so much for your dress to win last night. Wow, Simon was a winner last night. Excellent. That's
Simon was a winner. Jerry was a winner. Sean was a winner. We had some winners in.
Excellent. Good stuff. All right, welcome, guys. As usual, if you've got anything going on this week in your Amazon Live, let us know. Any successes, let us know in the chat. Anything to share with the community, let us know. Any questions, as always, bung them down below, or any contribution to what we'll be talking about. Anything you want to say is all good. Alrighty, so we got some questions. Should we just dive right in with the questions, Kev?
Yeah, that's it. Let's get on to the questions.
Let's get
I've
on
not
to
seen
it.
them myself, so
That's the best way. Just go
so
straight
it's the
from the
best
hip.
way. Absolutely.
John's been on as always. John's always got some good questions, and I must admit he had a question that was developing last week, and it only just happened that day. I think about the my orders section, and he's repeated his question of last week. Why not? And if we haven't got an answer for you, we bang it back up there again. And since then, John, I must admit I've now seen what you're talking about, so I've got a bit more sort of understanding of where you're coming from in the my orders section. You've probably seen it by now, Kev. There is now an option to upload an invoice in the my orders section. It's a bit sporadic. It's not on every order, which is weird. And I've had a quick look on the interwebs, and there's lots of varying stories. Even support has got varying stories, which is again not really surprising for Amazon. So I don't really know what they're trying to do. It's not. I don't think it's an official policy change, because they haven't released a proper statement about it, from what I can tell. And support are suggesting a few things. So from my point of view at the moment, I'm not seeing anything to say that you need to, or let me be specific, non-VAT payers. I'm not seeing anything to see that you need to upload an invoice on every single order right now. It's not clear enough for me that you need to do that, and I wouldn't be worried if that's you. I wouldn't be worried about doing that. If a customer asks for an invoice, then you can upload them something, or you can send them over to their own my order section and tell them to download their own order summary, which they can use as an invoice. They're not going to get a VAT invoice from you anyway if you're not VAT registered. So it's better one of those. We're going to have to see what Amazon's playing at first, because as usual, they're rolling out something a bit half-cocked, and they're not really giving a definitive line. So have you seen anything of it on it, Kev? You got anything to add to this conversation at the moment?
No, nothing to add. I've not seen anything official come out. I've not had any. Nobody's told me about it in the business. So yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Because there's the upload invoice option on every single one, and it actually says invoice not uploaded. I can understand people are panicking, thinking, have I got to upload an invoice for every single one of my orders? That's ridiculous. And if you were to do that, at least I guess the customer would have it to download at any given time. But I'm not seeing that that's an issue. It would certainly add an awful lot of time to your day if you had to do that. And eventually someone would create some software for that, because I don't see why Amazon haven't done that, because all the information is available on the order summary. It would be very simple for Amazon to create an add-on into their my order summary just to download an invoice. They've got all the information. It's weird that they haven't already, and it's weird that they're putting it on resellers to do so. So we shall see how that transpires. But at the moment, I would say don't panic about it too much. I haven't read your full question, John, because I'm talking. I'll hand it over to Kev to talk for a minute, and then I'll read the second part, because you've got quite a long question there. But for that first part, any of the manage orders thing, I would be not worrying too much.
Yeah, just to, I'm just going to pretty much say the same as Andy there. But what I would say is, when it comes to VAT registration, so you guys that are on or roundabouts or even VAT registered at this point, I think one of the most important things to think about when you are VAT registered is the tax codes for everything that you sell. So if you click on to edit any of the items that you may sell, there's like an option for the tax code, and you've got to tell Amazon what the tax code is. So and that's really, really important. So you may have a default tax code of like 20%, But then if it is, let's say, a 0% item like a coffee or a tea or whatever, you've got to actually go in and put that code in, because that obviously changes the invoice, and it changes the VAT percentage, and that's really important, especially when it comes to your VAT returns. Like, don't do what I did. I think I ended up paying something like £9,000 to £11,000 additional VAT, additional tax, because the truth is, the tax system, and Andy will probably be able to agree with me here. The government, the tax system. I'm not an accountant. This is not legal advice or anything, but everything is set up for you to pay more tax. Like, you're gonna pay more tax than not enough tax. It's always set up that way. So when it comes to VAT, like, I was going wrong because I just didn't know, and I was just paying too much tax all the time. And in the end, when I did find out, we corrected it, and it was something ridiculous, like £10,000 or something. Crazy amounts of money, and that was a big lesson. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I think it's a sliding scale, to be honest with you, Kevin. Unfortunately, the people just getting started and the people that probably have the least of money at the beginning are the ones that end up paying the most, because by default you don't fully understand how it works, and you're not sort of tax savvy, which no one would be. And then so you don't realize how everything is set up. And yes, as you say, by default, you end up overpaying way more. I think we've all done it at some stage, looking back and saying, well, that wasn't right. That was way more than it should have been. But as you go through, and then you look at the other end of the scale, the massive businesses that have huge liabilities and massive thousands of employees, they're the ones paying the least tax at all, because they've got a lot of clever tax advisors and accountants that are doing absolutely everything they can to make sure they pay nothing. And that's sad as far as I'm concerned, because those are the guys that are making so much money that could afford to actually contribute properly and make a real difference and move the needle. And there's lots of little guys just trying to get a foothold that are losing out and actually losing their hard-earned money because of it. So yeah, I think it's unproportionately weighted as far as I'm concerned. I think it's the wrong way around, but I suppose you learn to figure it out quickly when it hits you in the wallet. So definitely a good tip is get your head around it and make sure you learn as much as you can as you go along, because tax is a nightmare and it's not logical. Unfortunately, it's not. You can't just apply some common sense, because there's a whole load of unknown things that unless you know, you just don't know, and it's not obvious. So get yourself a good accountant.
And a good accountant is obviously critical in this scenario. But I would also say, from lessons learned, like, you've got to educate yourself a little bit as well. Now, you're not going to go to university. You're not going to go and train to be an accountant. But you've got to, as a business owner, if you're going to build a business, you do need to educate yourself a little bit. So if your accountant says something to you, and it's a foreign language, because we know that they speak a different language to us, you can go, do you know what, I'm going to just quickly check what you've just said, and I'm going to actually validate that and understand it and get it right and process it right in your mind. And then at least, like, as every conversation that you have when it comes to accounting and things, you just try to pick up a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and then you just improve as time goes on, really.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all it is. It's just an experience thing. And Kev says in the chat, look how itchy Andy gets when you say tax. Yeah, it's a swear word on the Reseller Show, quite frankly. It's only for your benefit that I tolerate talking about it. But yes, it's not how I like to spend my evening talking about tax, but yeah, it is a necessary evil as part of running your own business. And that's just the way it goes. Unfortunately, occasionally you have to think about it. All right, so what we're sort of talking about in a chat here, it says, my next meeting with Mark is actually about VAT, looking at hitting VAT in December. Unbelievable. Under limited company. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Amazing growth, Sean. just done so well to get to that stage already. And so if you're turning over into the late 80s, you've done very well to get there in such a short period. So congratulations. You've probably got a lot more work ahead of you to get through that. But the good thing is your velocity is so fast, and you'll push through it very quickly, and you'll be out the other side. You don't want to be hanging around at that threshold for very long if you can, because obviously that's not a good place to be. But I don't think that the way you're pushing on, the way your work rate means you will be out the other side before you know it, which means it will come back to you, and it will be hopefully not too much of a painful experience going through that. But you've got a good guy on your side who knows Amazon, who knows accounting, and I'm sure you'll be in good stead to crack on through December and into 2020. So yeah, keep us posted on how you're getting on. You're doing great work.
So amazing, Sean. Yes.
Yeah,
sorry.
Really good.
I was just reading the chat here. Yeah, Sean, you're going to be hoping for that £1,000 day sale real soon. I think you've been an absolute superstar this year. You're definitely one of a real incredible story for 2019. And I'm just looking forward to seeing how your Q4 is going to go, really. You've been here all year. You've just been taking action, just like all of us have. And you've been you've been great to share that journey with us. So I think we're all rooting for you. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what stories come out of Q4. To be honest, because every year there's incredible stories of success. So amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's Sean just said I got a copyright from Amazon Italy today on a product, instantly removed the product as soon as I got the email. Should I do the same for Germany, UK, France, and Spain? Absolutely. If it's copyright, I wouldn't mess with that one. I would definitely just get it out. Not worth taking the risk, personally, I would say, unless it's blatantly incorrect, which probably isn't. Just knock it off that entire marketplace. It's not worth, for one product, it's not worth messing about. Get rid of it, I would say. Simon says the same. Yeah, Simon says I would, Sean. Just to be safe. Good advice. I would do that for sure.
I would do too. And I'd go one step further as well. You've got to, if you're starting to get any type of like claims or copyright claims or whatever, and any issue with particular products, you need to introduce, if you haven't already, some type of restricted product management system where, we talk about and we ship like literally hundreds of products. Like the ASINs, you're not going to remember everything. So you've got to try making and building something that is mechanical and automated. So what we did is we actually installed a function in our spreadsheets that we manage all our stock by. So whenever, let's say in this scenario, whatever this item was, we would take the ASIN, put it in our restricted ASINs tab, and then basically what our main tab's doing, our main inventory tab, is always looking for ASINs in that restricted. And if any of them are in there that go into our purchasing files, it turns black. It turns the whole line black. So black is a big, I was going to say red flag, but it's a black flag. It's a big black flag. So if that goes on any of our sheets, then we know that there's something on there that's restricted. And the reason why I say that is because it's all well and good when you've got maybe one item. If you've just had one thing that's come up and it's like restricted, and you're like, okay, I remember this. This is a whatever toy that's restricted, no problem. But when you've got like tens and you've got hundreds, you can't remember everything. So try making your systems automated and robotic.
Great advice. Not worth leaving it to chance. So very good advice. Get a procedure down to highlight that, and then you'll be in a much better position. Great advice, I would say. Okay, so Simon asked something as well in the chat here. Kev, have you had any luck with getting certificates for toy compliance? I sent one in which they accepted, but they asked for a photo of the product packaging. How can I do that when the product is in fulfillment centers? What do you reckon, Kev?
No, to be honest with you, we just skipped over them. Just one of those things. Like we don't, I haven't, and maybe right or wrong, you guys would maybe do a little bit of coaching for me, but I tend to move on very, very quickly. There's so much opportunity. I'm not now going to take 3 weeks to try resolving something, especially if there's like a product that is I've maybe only sold 4 units of. If it was something a little bit more significant where it was like it was a wholesale replenishing all the time, then yeah, of course I would action that. But a lot of the times, if I've only sold like 4 units or 6 units, we'll just move on and we'll not even think about it.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. If it takes longer to mess around than it's worth actually getting the money back from them, then yeah, that's fair enough, I would say. Kev's got a good question here. He said, I've got a quick question for Kev, as I'm just curious. I watched an old video of yours with Gareth, Isaac, and Brandon. What's the connection with Isaac and Brandon? Are you related?
That's a great question. So, yeah, so I don't know whether you guys are aware of my connection with, first of all, Gareth. Gareth is my partner, Kylie. Gareth is Kylie's brother. So Gareth is my brother-in-law. So that's you may know that. We started the business in 2015, and that first August, so like 2 months afterwards, we were out in Morzine, the French Alps, Morzine, sat there having a nice beer with Gareth, which was amazing. And I said, oh, Gareth, check this out. And it was the first day of holiday. It was my first ever holiday having an online business. And I said, hey, Gareth, check this out. And I'd sold something. It was like dinner time. The sun was shining. It was a beautiful day. I was having a beer and I'd made something like £250 sales. It was amazing. I said, Gareth, check this out. And he literally put his beer down and went, tell me everything. And then, I mean, the rest is history with Gareth. He ended up going all in himself. He ended up quitting his job. He's out in a warehouse himself now, doing amazing things. So he's doing outstanding. Isaac and Brandon, so the way that their connection is there, Gareth was actually working with Isaac. So when Gareth started getting involved in Amazon, he obviously told Isaac about it. And Gareth said, do you know what, Isaac, you should meet somebody, Kev. And then we went out for a meal. We ended up, Isaac, top guy, as you know, Brandon as well. I met Brandon. And now we're now behind the scenes. We're in our own mastermind where we talk, we share our goals, we did like we go on mastermind retreats. We've done all sorts of different things, but they're now in a warehouse themselves. They're now doing amazing things in wholesale. They're incredible young lads. I mean, the thing that blows my mind with Isaac and Brandon as well is first of all, it's been incredibly proud for me to see your friends like obviously take massive action, but they're like 22 years old.
Yeah.
The 22 years old, like I just keep thinking to myself, and we have this conversation because we go out to Costa and we have drinks and they come round to my house and we have barbecues and we go out for meals and all the rest of it. And I just keep thinking, I sometimes pinch myself because I'm like, you're 22 years old and what an amazing time to be alive. Like by the time they're 25, they could be well on their ways to being millionaires, like literally. And they're 25 years old. And the thing that's so good about, and sorry if I'm rambling on, but the thing that's so great that they're maybe 22, but they've got such a wise head on them. They've got a very mature, very, very mature. I mean, when you've got a 22-year-old talking about investing and talking about property and talking about, building multiple streams of income and, that's the brilliant thing. Like the 22 years old, they've got very mature heads on them and we bounce off each other. We've all got our strengths. We've all got our weaknesses. And that's one of the things that I highly recommend that you need. Like everybody needs everyone needs a mastermind around them. I'm not just talking a virtual mastermind because I see you guys as my mastermind as well. But you need the next level in mastermind where you've got like a close group of advisors. That's maybe the best way I can share it. Like whenever there's something big that's going on, we talk about and I trust them. I trust their opinion. I can't tell you on how many scenarios I've come across I've told them something and I think maybe it's a really, really like an amazing idea, and they'll be like, I don't think this is a great idea, this, Kev. Do you know what I mean? They give you
Yeah.
they give you a bit of perspective, and that's what a mastermind's there for. They give you a bit of they show you the pros and cons, and ultimately they've got your best interest as well, which is important.
Exactly. No, I definitely agree with that. I think it's really good to have someone to rebound ideas off, and just to give you a second opinion, because you're into your business so deeply. Sometimes it's difficult to take a step back and see things objectively. So just have someone who understands the business and to be able to give you some, just of their own opinion is really useful. So I'm sure that group is of a mutual benefit for everyone. But yeah, Isaac and Brandon, they're amazing. They got loads of energy, and we had dinner together with me, you, Gareth, and Isaac when I was over last time, and you'd never think he was 22 at all. Very mature, very driven, and he's a good guy. And it quite often, you think to yourself, I'm 42 coming up now, this Q4, and am I, or am I 41? No, I'm probably 41. Shit, that's what happens when you get older as well. You forget how old you are. but you often say things like, if only, I'd found Amazon when I was in my early 20s, what could you achieve? But they're probably a good example of what you could achieve when you have the energy and focus and sort of passion to be able to dive straight to the point, straight to where you need to be, and you haven't had the 10 odd years of figuring it all out and working way through and getting to that point. Those guys are going to be in such a strong position, as you say, in another 5 years' time, another 10 years' time, they're going to be doubled, tripled, and quadrupled down on their position because they've had the time and the energy, and two minds together like that are going to do amazing. So yeah, it's great to see, and they're good guys. And it's interesting, isn't it, having one person's idea sparking another person, which then sparks another person, just happens to work with someone, and then he gets together with his friend, and now you've got three amazing businesses as a result. So it's a testament to all of you, and all good people.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's a weird thing. Like you've just said, you have like this knock-on effect on like who it impacts. Like obviously we impacted Gareth, and then Gareth impacted Isaac, and then Isaac's ended up impacting Dev. So everyday Dev, who's also got his own warehouse and things.
That's
so
right.
it's weird on how impactful the opportunity is, and how impactful we can go on this journey together. And that's why one of the things that I've tried to really instill in my own belief is you've got to keep sharing. Like, share as much as you possibly can. If you find something that works, share it with somebody else. Yeah. Because, like, I don't know. I think I got this off of Jim Rohn as well. Like, Jim Rohn, he's one of my first mentors. Like, when I was first unplugged out the matrix of like, okay, oh my God, this is like, this opportunity is real. Jim Rohn was there for me when I was working at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'd listen to Jim Rohn, and he'd say things like, if you've got an idea, share it with someone else, because then that idea they can share it with somebody else, and then they can share it with someone else, and then somehow the world has got a way of bringing it back to you in some way later on. So I do genuinely believe that. Hence why we do this in the first place. Like, that's what me and Andy believe in. That's why we're here. We don't get paid to do this. We do this voluntary because we love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Apart from when you ask questions about tax. But let's not. Anyway, Kev says I've started going to a monthly accountability meeting with other business owners. Complete game changer for me. Absolutely. And firstly, just to get out of the house and to meet other people and do that whole networking thing. But you're like-minded as well, get more energy. And again, people know stuff. And, I love to learn from other people. And there's amazing insight people have. So great idea. Get to an accountability meeting, a local thing. I'm sure there are loads of things local to you. There may even be like a Amazon sellers meetup close by to you. So definitely get out and meet people. And if nothing else, it gives you a good boost of confidence and a bit of extra energy to come back to your business with. And that's worth having alone.
Yeah, you've got to, as the saying goes, you've got to try being the what did I call it? The dumbest person in the room.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself. You put yourself around people that are ahead of you as much as you can. I don't mean to say that you should distance yourself from your friends and things like that. Maybe there's a time that you maybe should, but what I mean is like any opportunity that you have to go to a conference or a meeting or like Andy does his annual Wholesale Academy event. Anytime you go to an event like that, you're going to come across somebody who's maybe at the same level as you, or they may be 10 steps ahead of you, and you've got to soak that in. And that's one of the reasons why I went to Tony Robbins' UPW this year, and this is the first year that I actually paid to go in the diamond area. So it was an expensive ticket. It was the most I've ever paid to go to a seminar. But I thought to myself, do you know what? If I pay to go in the diamond area, who am I going to be sat next to? And I met some incredible people, like some people that are doing like 10 million a year, 15 million a year in different industries. I met this one guy called Nick. He's got an incredible story. He's done like different agencies, and there's me thinking, I'm telling him my story. I'm like, yeah, we got ourselves into a warehouse, and he's like, yeah, we did 18 million last year in one of my businesses. I was like, wow, that's amazing. But that's inspiring. That's what it's all about.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's definitely what it's all about. And any opportunity, I would definitely recommend that. I never regret spending time with like-minded people. Never. Always something interesting to speak about and to learn from. So yeah, big tip there. I definitely recommend doing that. Have a look this week. Make a note and see if you can find a local thing going on in your area, and just get out and do it. Even if it's just as Kev is just a local accountability group, that's great. Doesn't have to be Amazon related. It can be just like-minded business people. Will still give you a lot of really good tips, good energy, and just have a chat with some cool people as well. That's all it takes sometimes. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat by the looks of it. So we've got more questions. Should we do some more questions, Kev?
Absolutely.
So Darren Moore, I think Darren's in this evening. I think I've seen Darren. I think I've seen him. Anyway, there he is. Darren's in this evening, and he said, "Hi, Kev and Andy. I have a newbie question that I would be grateful if you could answer during the Monday show." Yes, we can. We're doing it right now, Darren. I recently watched one of Kev's videos in which he gives great advice on the importance of keeping costs to a minimum when first starting out. Good advice. With this in mind, I've considered which are the essential tools that I will need, and subsequently decided to subscribe to the following: Keeper, Repricer Express, and Seller Board. Firstly, do you agree that these tools will cover all of my initial OA requirements? Secondly, whilst I fully intend to add BuyBot Pro in the future, what would you suggest in the meantime? Is the best method for identifying hazmat products and products that I am not yet eligible to sell when sourcing? We'll look forward to tuning in to hear your reply. Many thanks, Darren. All righty. Thank you for your question.
Hey.
Good question.
It's an amazing question, Darren. It's great to have you here. Thanks very much for using the Facebook group and putting that question in. Do you want me to go first, Andy, or yourself?
I think you should, Kev. I think you've got it covered there. You look like you're ready and willing with an answer there.
I just wanted to say thanks because, I mean, I think it's absolutely essential in today's age that you've got to try keeping your costs to a minimum. There is so many tools out there now. I think it's fair to say that it's amazing the amount of innovation that software creators have created and different solutions that they've created. But the truth is, it means that if you sign up to everything, you could be at £500 a month expenses and you've not even sold a product yet.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why I said, you've got to try keeping to the essential tools. So some great essential tools that you mentioned. One, I think it's a common across everybody. Keeper is such a vital. It's just a vital tool. If I 100%. Had to get rid of everything, if I had to get rid of absolutely everything that I've got at my disposal and just pick one, it would probably come down to I want Keeper. I want to stay with Keeper. So
Agreed.
So it's such a, and Andy agrees. So such a vital tool. Then for the other two, like I would say that I would, if I had to pick out of the other two, of Repricer Express and Seller Board, I would tend to go more towards Repricer Express, simply because, first of all, you can get like Repricer Express for a month free using my link if you want it. We need to get some Reseller Show links. To be honest with you, Andy, on a serious note, one way, and I hope you guys don't mind me going just a little bit of a tangent here. One way that the Reseller Show may be able to leverage this great community is potentially reaching out to some service providers and seeing if they can strike us a deal, Andy, and then we may be able to fund the show and provide even better things for you guys. So that's maybe something that me and Andy have to talk about. Let us know in the chat what you think and some options that we've got. But Repricer Express is going to make you money. It's just the reality of it. It's going to make you money. When it comes to repricing products, especially in online arbitrage, if you're building a business where you've got hundreds of products, it's just a must to have a repricing software. That's just the truth, because you're going to lose an absolute fortune of sales because things change so much. Like the prices are always changing, as you know. The buy box is always changing, and for you to get that sale, you've got to be in the buy box, or you've got to be in and around the buy box. You've got to be there. And if for example, I don't care what anybody says, if somebody says, "Oh, I'm manually checking my prices," and then I'm going to, "Oh, I've just checked my prices," like literally 1 minute later, the prices could change.
Yep.
Yeah, just something can change straight away. So just put it to a software that's always monitoring 24/7, and it's going to make you money. Because I actually think if I really thought about it, Repricer Express has made me hundreds of thousands of pounds. No joke. It just has, because I've got sales because of it. Sellerboard. Now, Sellerboard is, I think it's more of a recent thing. I mean, I came across it a few months back. I don't know how long they've been around, but Sellerboard, the one thing I'd say about Sellerboard is, although yes, it's a great tool to have, would you class it as an essential tool? Probably not. Simply because it's a nice to have. Yeah, it's a nice to have, because I went 3-4 years without having Sellerboard, and I literally I've used Repricer Express and Keeper since day dot. Right. But the same with Sellerboard. We should get a Reseller Show link, which we should be able to give you 2 months free if you was interested in it, because that's certainly what I ended up getting. But I think to the first, if you really wanted to bootstrap, I would recommend Keeper for everybody, and then Repricer Express once you've got yourself to 20, 30, 40, worst case scenario 50 different products, because at that point there you're making more sales if you are using a Repricer Express.
Yeah, I would agree with that, to be honest with you. I mean, I have resisted a repricer for a very long time for my own reasons, probably my own stick in the mud reasons, and not necessarily business related reasons. I like to think that I make repricing decisions in a different way. I like to look ahead. I like to feel like I can see some extra neo matrix stuff in the keeper graphs, and I can maybe predict a little bit about what's going to happen in the future. And so I make sometimes pricing decision based on what is good for me in those products. I might be able to make a little bit more money by holding on and waiting. But the thing is, it was kind of a moot point anyway. I now have Repricer Express and use it, and it's great and I love it. I just turn off that. You can just turn off those ones, the sort of products where I think, okay, I'm going to do this manually because these might be the ones I'm going to buy and hold. I'm going to have a look at the market. I'm going to see how it goes. I might mull it over. I might lose the odd sale, but in the long run, I'm probably going to make more money as a result by using my own decisions. I just turn the repricing off on those individual items as they go in. Everything else gets repriced. I make more money based on the fact that I don't have to manually reprice all those ones. They get taken care of. Yes, I'll probably make a little bit less sometimes based on the fact that I'm going to be following other people down, whereas before I might have waited for them to sell out if they've got a couple of items. But across the year, you're probably just going to be getting more stuff sold, and more stuff will be coming in. And so you'll make up what you lose on a few quid per item. You may actually make up on your volume of turnover anyway. So I think it was probably me just being stuck in the mud, because I've always done it myself, and I like to take pride in manually doing it. And yeah, it's probably not the right advice. I always used to say to other people, use a repricer. I don't, but that's my own personal decision. But I definitely think repricer are a good idea. Now I actually use a repricer, and I had that whole headache of actually trying to make it work for my business and plug it in and cross my fingers and hope a load of stuff doesn't fly out the door for half the price I paid for it. But once I got my head around it and got it working and working well, I can see it's a benefit, and it certainly saved me a lot of time. And now I'm repricing manually a fraction of what I need to do now. So it certainly helped me. So yeah, that's a long way around of saying I agree with Kev.
Yeah, and I think Kev just put in the chat saying free master sheets for all listeners, Kev? Good, nice try, Kev. Nice try. I mean, those master sheets, they're obviously my little baby. I've been working on them for a long time. But I mean, one thing that I will say, and I don't know how much I can say. This is maybe just a little bit of a teaser for you guys, but. When my software becomes available, and I've not even spoken to Andy about this, but when my software becomes available, it's going to have such an impact to all of us. You've never seen anything like it, and that's all I can say. It's literally going to have. Ooh. I'm so excited about it. That it may even be available before Christmas. Maybe. We'll see.
Don't just throw that teaser out there and leave us hanging. Jesus, we need more than that, don't we? My word. All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, all I'll say. We
need more. Give us more.
Okay. All I'll say is this software. I think one of the things, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? The one thing that I genuinely believe is us as sellers that are in the business model that are actually doing this. We've got a massive advantage because we're actually doing it. We're building our business. So this software that we've been in development of, I've got some great guys that behind the scenes, can't wait to introduce them to you. We've been working on specific things that are going to improve my business. So first and foremost, this software is for me. Before it goes to all you guys, it's to help me grow my business. So that's the one thing I would say about other maybe softwares out there. There's a lot of maybe developers, there's maybe a lot of people out there that are developing great tools, but I think a lot of them have missed some specific key features that for people that are actually doing this business model day in and day out and know the little intricate frustrations we have and where we can save time. You know what I'm like when it comes to saving time. This software is going to make my entire business literally, it's going to half the amount of time I do everything. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait for it.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds cool. I'm looking forward to checking it out. But now I'm just going to have to...
KevBot Pro.
Yeah, KevBot Pro. There might be some trademark issues there, Kev, but KevBot Pro. Love it. Yeah, we'll have to just sit and tune in next week to see if there's any progress on that one. But Kev's guaranteed it's going to be before Christmas, which is good news. So we'll hold him to that one.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got a great development team. So the one thing that I'll say as well, on another thing, the final thing is the development team that I've got. I was an engineer, right? So I had a lot of contacts a part of the British Steel here, where I did lots of development for the British Steel, like an actual steel plant, right? So there was a whole lot of software involved. There's a whole lot of complex systems that are involved. So when I shared this project, this idea with some fantastic guys that are owners of their own server companies and multi-million every year that they do for industry, they looked at this project and went, it's just a piece of cake. It was like a piece of cake to them because they're so involved in like multi-million-pound projects and stuff. So fantastic, super highly experienced guys. I've got Steve. You guys have obviously maybe heard me talk about Steve, who's my behind-the-scenes COO. He's also an engineer as well. So what's really exciting about this is you've got 3 engineers developing something that is going to be used inside our business first, which is so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be an interesting thing. I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. Sean in the chat says, "Does anyone sell on eBay here? Hands up if you sell on eBay." I'm starting to use the global shipping program, so it keeps my total sales down for when I'm VAT registered. Not a bad idea. Any delivery abroad is between customer and eBay after I sold them, and just post to 10, Sean. I just post the UK eBay GSP warehouses. When I've used it, I got an absolute amazing deal with it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the buyers appreciate it because they end up paying a fortune. But I used to get really good deals, Sean, when I used to use it. I can't remember. It's been a while. It's probably been over a year, 18 months since I had a GSP deal. But yeah, I feel like you end up getting a really decent chunk of postal money from doing it, and still only just I feel like I'm sure I probably put something like, I don't know, 30 quid international shipping, and then they go GSP, and then you just get a UK address to ship it to and still get the 30 quid. So from memory, I ended up with a shed load of money from the using the GSP, but I don't think the buyers got a particularly good deal out of it. But yeah, I'd mess around with it. I'd certainly try it out because it's great because you're just shipping in the UK, so it's no problem for us. Nice and easy, cheap shipping rates, and let eBay take care of the rest. So if anyone doesn't understand the global shipping program for eBay, you simply eBay handle the international shipping. So they, once you enroll in it, when someone buys something from another country, they give you a UK shipping address of a fulfillment warehouse, and all you do is you ship it to the fulfillment warehouse. They take a big bunch of these things that have turned up, and then they will batch ship to those countries. But obviously that they're getting lots of parcels every day, so they'll send a truckload to, I don't know, Poland or Italy or Spain or wherever else like that. So it works in terms of volume, and everyone gets a good deal in that respect anyway. But I had a pretty good response out of it personally, and it worked well for me when I've used it. I haven't used eBay too much in the last 18 months, to be honest with you, Sean, but from when I did, it worked well.
Yeah, I've not got any experience really on eBay apart from making those first initial sales back in 2015. I know it's something that I want to get myself involved in at some point, just because it's another platform that you should be able to utilize in some way.
Yeah.
But there's so much growth in Amazon. There's so much things to do when it comes to FBM and seller fulfilled Prime as well. And then you've got wholesale, even books. There's so many things that you can do. It's just a case of trying to just get one thing up and running and systemized, and then move on. You don't want to try doing too many things. So
I think Sean's doing it right. He's kind of just putting all his energy into doing what he's doing now. But you see in the chat, he's saying, he's going to look into books after his VAT registered and baby product things. But he's got goals. He's like, I'm going to get to here first, then I'm going to introduce some more lines. So that's focus, and that's important as well, because there are 100 different things. Sean could be doing a load more different things, but his time would be even more diluted, which means he won't be pushing on and making the traction that he is now. So it's good. It's a good idea. Laser target focused, and that's what's getting him such quick results right now. And that's a good thing to pay attention to, people. If you're the type of person like me that is easily distracted from one's purpose, and it's like, oh, I'd like to do some of this, I'd like to do some of this, I'd like to do some of this, stay focused and get across the line on the first thing first. Know what works, find out what works, do it, and then add strings to your bow as you get to your goals. But yeah, don't get too distracted, because it's easily done, and that can be the worst thing possible. So yeah, good advice there, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add, just to finish off what Darren was saying earlier on, I think he had a second part to that question, Andy, where he said, secondly, whilst I fully intend on to add BuyBot Pro in the future, what would you suggest in the meantime is the best method of identifying hazmat products and products that I'm not eligible to sell when sourcing? What's your thoughts on that, Andy?
Yeah, sorry, Darren. We got so carried away with answering the first question, we
We did.
forgot to go back to the second part. So, whilst I fully intend to add BuyBot Pro in the future, what would you suggest in the meantime is the best method for identifying hazmat products that I'm not yet eligible to sell when sourcing? To be honest with you, if you're out in the field, then you can use the Amazon Seller app. It is pretty straightforward and pretty quick, and that will straight away tell you whether you can sell that product. It says you are eligible for selling this product, or you are not eligible for selling this product. It's really quick, really easy. Use the scan function, scan the barcode. It's going to tell you because it's plugged into your account, so you'll get a result for your account and not just generic information. So that's the easiest and quickest way of doing it. Hazmat products in the same way, I guess. Should flag it as something that you can't sell. I'm not eligible. When sourcing that, I would say in the field is the quickest and easiest way of doing it. Unless, have you got any other tips to highlight hazmat products, Kev?
For me, old school, when I was sourcing right back in the days, I would simply just have when I was doing my old online arbitrage sourcing from copy and paste, I would just have my Amazon account open and I would simply just try to add it.
Yep. Add it as a product.
That's add it as a product. And that was it really. Just real old school, just what I did.
Yeah. It'll soon tell you. Yeah, I mean, if you're at your desktop, that's the quickest way of doing it, I guess. If you're out in the field, you've got your Amazon Seller app, so that just simple works. It's the best way of doing it, I would say. If you've not got any other software that will highlight it for you, that is pretty basic and pretty straightforward way of getting that done. So yeah, sorry, Darren, it's taken that long to get back to your second part of your question, but yeah. Pretty simple.
Great question, though.
Really good question, actually. And it's a good point because you can get over the top with with tools, and some of them are essentials. Like Keeper, I think you don't need anything else apart from Keeper. You could hustle with Keeper, and that's it. But you do need Keeper. Price Express you don't need. You'd have to hustle really hard, and Sellerboy definitely don't need. But you can add things as you go, which is exactly the right thing to do, and that's what you're doing. And as you expand, you can add things as long as you're happy that is going to add value to your business. And you need to keep an eye on that and make sure you can somehow track, even if it's just a rough idea, that it's adding value to your business. If it isn't, then get rid of it because it's just going to be a drag on your profit. Ultimately, you'd be having more profit if you had less expenses. And the quickest way to make more profits is to get rid of your expenses. So something to be aware of. And it's easy to add things in, not so easy to take things away. You just forget they're there or don't even think about it. So good to have a purge sometimes. If you found any of these tips useful this evening, a thumbs up would be very handy. 13 guys watching right now, 5 thumbs up. So I'm sure people are waiting to the end, just waiting for their moment to take massive action on that like button. I know it's quite far from your fingertips right now, but if you could give it a poke, I would appreciate it. And Kev always likes a poke, so I know that he will appreciate it as well.
Andy, why are you saying that out in public?
Oh dear, love it. So what have we got else here?
Jonathan says, how about my second question about gift wrapping? Oh God, we're all over the place tonight. I do apologize.
Yeah.
There was a second question.
Yeah, because he's been spamming the Reseller Show Facebook group with questions. That's why we can't see through the sea of Jonathan Hill questions.
Whilst here it is, number 2. Whilst we can see if the order is expedited or has standard shipping, is there a way of easily seeing if a customer's asked for gift wrapping? I asked because a copy of the data from here into a spreadsheet to monitor percentage, ROA, etc. Standard shipping and gift wrapping both add to the total amount paid by the customer. Is that the amount that is subject to Amazon's referral fees?
Yeah, I don't know a quick way of finding it, to be honest with you. Standard shipping. Is there an easy way to see if customers ask for gift wrapping? No, you have to go a couple of menus deep, I think, to see that. Paul Walker says date range reports on the payments tab have a column for gift wrap. I mean, I don't know any other way of finding it, John. I can't add much help to that one, to be honest with you. Standard shipping and gift wrapping both add the total amount paid by the customer. And this is the amount.
I don't think it should be subject to Amazon referral fees. I mean, I haven't seen it myself. I'd be very surprised if I haven't sold things before in the past that have had gift wrapping. And if that's the case, and then Amazon, be a bit cheeky for Amazon now to offer the gift wrapping and then add additional fees on you because their customer asked for gift wrapping. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Amazon would not do that ever, but I don't know. All I would say is I think it's probably worth a bit of assignment for everybody in the Reseller Show. Have a look at some orders, have a look at your orders, have a look, see if anybody's paid for gift wrapping. And Jonathan's right, quite rightly says, with Christmas coming up, because Q4 is in how many days? 7 days. 7 days.
It's also my birthday.
Yeah.
Carry on, Kev.
Is it your birthday next week?
No. How did you know that?
When is the first? Is it the Tuesday or the Monday?
Monday or Tuesday, by the sounds of it. I'm not keeping track, but it's Tuesday. Yeah, I haven't been paying attention, but
I was going to say we might have to have another party. Might bring some cake for us all to share.
Hats. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Some party hats.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure how I'd give you guys a bit of cake, but I can eat some cake.
Any excuse. Oh dear! You can post me a bit, Kev, between now and then, and I'll eat it on the Reseller Show. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how we even started talking about my birthdays. Can we stop talking about it, please, Kev? God's sake. Yeah. So apart from my birthday on Tuesday, what were we just saying? No. To be honest with you, there isn't. I don't think there's another way having it other than opening it in another window, John. But yeah, I would double check that because not sure that sounds 100% right. But I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'd be surprised if they're going to add additional fees based on the gift wrap. But it might be something to have a little chin scratch about and have a chat about it next week. Don't know. I'll stop it, Darren, with all your birthday cakes. I'll give over. I don't want to make a big thing about it, guys. Come on.
We can all sing happy birthday to you. Although it will actually just be me singing out for everybody because we won't be able to hear everyone, and that'll just be awful.
You'll have to virtually do it. Yeah, that's sweet. Okay, all right. So we're coming up to an hour now. So we spent a fair amount of that on reasonable questions and not talk about my birthday. So good. Have we covered most things? I think we caught most of the questions now, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think all we can say is thank you guys so much for watching and being here with us live. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, we would really obviously appreciate it. If you could help us and give us a review out on our podcast as well, if you are listening to our podcast, and just leave a review, a 5-star review. If you don't give us 5 stars, we will find you and hunt you down. I'm not actually going to do that, just for the record.
Yeah. He said it live on the internet now. That's threats to kill on the Reseller Show. That's how we roll.
But yeah, I appreciate. I love doing this. It's fantastic. We are coming up to the 1 year, the 1 year anniversary, the 1 year birthday of the Reseller Show. Like I keep saying, me and Andy, we've got high hopes for this. I hope over the last year it's shown to you guys that it can be very much fun. It can be very useful. It can be a just a hangout between friends, a mastermind like this. But I think it's fair to say that we need to do a little bit more, Andy, in terms of trying to see how we can support the show to make it to the next level of for you guys, because it's been a year. I think that I do think that we have the potential to potentially try reaching out to different service providers and things and see if they're interested in being sponsors of the show or something, because that would allow us to potentially improve things for you guys. Like one of the things, and let us know in the chat how you think that the show could get better. But one of the things definitely that I would recommend is that not everybody watches the full show for an hour. And there are very specific sort of golden nuggets in here where it's useful for the community. So one of the things that I was definitely thinking is, even if we had somebody who was splitting the show to pieces and then just publishing it out a little bit later on in the week, just some highlights of this current week, just like a summary, like a condensed maybe 5 golden nuggets that in this week's show, just something like that. But obviously myself and Andy, we need we're a 2-man team at the minute, and we've got so many things to do. So it does need we need some investment.
Yeah, that would be useful. Just some bite-sized chunks, and as you say, the golden nuggets from the week would. I think that would be quite useful to spread it out. So if you haven't had time to tune in, then you can get straight to the meat and 2 veg, so to speak. So yeah, good idea. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So thanks very much, guys. It's been been a good one, Andy.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Thanks for coming, everyone, and we'll see you same bat time, same bat channel on Monday at 7 p.m. So thanks again for everyone that takes the time to hang out with us. We enjoy your company. It's all good fun, good banter, and hopefully you can join us again next week. So for this one, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.
See ya.